This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And this birthday boy is an icon, a goaltender. As you should know, I'm a big goaltenders fan. But this guy is the greatest foreign-born goalie and the greatest goalie to never have played in the NHL, ever. This is him, Vladislav Tretiak. He's now 69 years old. Man, I keep finding 69-year-olds. Anyway, he was one of the greatest goalies ever. He was one of six. He was the goalie on the International Ice Hockey Federation, or IIHF for short, Centennial All-Star team. I mean, like, honestly, you really think that they weren't going to pick him? So, on that Centennial All-Star team, there were 4 Soviets: Tretiak, Fetisov, Harlamov, and Makarov, with Boris Olmy and Wayne Gretzky getting in there too. But it's mostly because of international tournaments, not because of the NHL. This was in 2008 when the IIHF was 100 years old. A lot of people were actually nice with the Centennial All-Star team, but they said only 6 people. They should have been the second or third team. He is actually the current president of the Russian Ice Hockey Federation. So anyway, Tretiak was happy as can be and all that. He actually never played hockey till he was 11 years old in 1963. And he was well known in Russia by the time he was 19 in 1971. So if I look at this, he was only 20 years old at the Summit Series. Wow, I thought he was like 25 or something like that. But he was only 20. Yikes. So anyway, yeah. I can't believe it. He was only 20 years old on the Summit Series. So anyway, yeah, he helped the Russians win the gold medal at the 72 Winter Olympics in Sao Paulo. He was very famous for what he did in the Summit Series in 1972. A couple of days ago, I did a video about Tony Esposito and all that. And the funny thing is, 2 days after that is like someone's birthday, is Tretiak, the opposing goalie to Tony Esposito. And of course, Cam Jordan, but whatever. So anyway, the Canadians were upset because they basically underestimated Tretiak, even though he had a terrible game one night. All that. However, Canadian players and fans held Tretiak in the highest regard and respect, and Tretiak was very famous in the series. One of the best around. Anyway, he was internationally recognized, being one of the best Russians, alongside Alexander Yakushov and Valery Harlamov. Yeah, I can respect Harlamov and all that. I guess he was respected so much that Bobby Clark had to slash his ankles to try to slow down Harlamov and make us win the Summit Series. I think that was kind of cheap in a sense, but, you know, the Russians would have probably done something to us. But anyhow, as a result of Tretiak's stellar performance, many NHL teams wanted to draft him. And Tretiak was willing to come over to North America, but the Russian government, you know, those pesky Soviets and the Cold War thing, they did not let him leave. Tretiak would, you know, help the Russians win 3 gold medals at the Olympics, 72, 76, and 84. And, of course, was a goalie for the 1980 team that lost to the American on Ice. He was a World Championship star goalie and all that, winning lots of gold medals and all that. One of his best performances was in 1975 during the Super Series, when Russian teams would come over to play NHL teams and all that, and it would be a big freaking deal. Tretiak and his Russian Soviet Army, the Red Army team, crushed the Rangers into fine powder 7-3 one night. But then on New Year's Eve 1975, they would take on the Montreal Canadiens. Some of the Montreal players were part of the 72 Summit Series, so Tretiak knew them. But also the fact that but also the fact that, you know, there were other players too. In a very highly publicized game, which was shown in Canada, which had one of the highest ratings at that time, Tretiak was great, and he had to be. Montreal outshot the Soviets 38-13, and shockingly, it was a 3-3 tie. one of the most famous ties of all time. I think people wanted to make it a tie. Anyway, Tretiak would help in a lot of medals. 10 double IHF World Championships. He was the goalie that won the NHL Challenge Cup and all that. Anyway, Tretiak was famously pulled in the American Ice game in February 1980. Mostly because of a terrible goal he gave up with 1 second left to Mark Johnson, who would later play for the Devils, among others. So anyway, it was 2-2 tie, and then he was pulled from Michigan and all that. Tretiak was mad because he said he would not let in the goals that Michigan allowed. Had he won that game, he probably would have just needed a tie for the Soviets to win gold. Tretiak decided to retire and all that at 32 years old. He wanted to spend more time with his family and wanted a training regime which he could live at home and come to the training camp before games. But head coach Viktor Tikhonov refused, and Tretiak decided to retire and all that. Tretiak, I remember, said some kind of thing to did a Russian newspaper article in 1983 criticizing the Russian Army, Red Army team, and said that, after being drafted by Montreal, kind of as a fantasy move, he expressed his decision to, be better off and all that. But then the Russians basically persuaded him to play for the World Championships one more time. And basically, yeah. Anyway, yeah. Tretiak has gotten a lot of legendary thing. He was the first Soviet to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1989. Tretiak was even a goalie coach for the Chicago Blackhawks in 1990, which allowed them to coach goalies such as Ed Belfour, Dominic Hasek, and Jocelyn Thibault, which was amazing. In fact, Belfour, after he left Chicago, would always wear number 20 on his jersey to honor Tretiak until Belfour's retirement. And many goalies, including Gene Nabokov, wore number 20 as a tribute to Tretiak. All that. He actually worked for the Blackhawks till 2007. So he worked for the Hawks for 17 years. Wow, that's pretty good and all that. And even the Governor General gave Tretiak a Meritorious Service Medal and all that. Tretiak earned the award because he founded an organization to foster good relations between Canada and Russia. Tretiak even lit the Olympic flame in 2014 in Sochi. So this was amazing. So yeah, this was amazing and all that. He has a wife and they have 2 kids. Tretiak is a Russian Orthodox Christian and all that. So yeah, he was a great Soviet player, and the Soviets really adored him for it, what he did and all that. So yeah, Tretiak won 13 league titles with the Red Army team and was MVP 5 times in Russia. Lots of honors in Russia and all that. So yeah, Tretiak is a great guy after all. I mean, I value him. He was a good goaltender, and you can't beat that. I'm Jeff Diamond. Adu.